Explode Manager utilizes multiple different translations. You can do rotations within the Explode Manager. You can do translations within Explode Manager. And so in this part with the engine block, you can see how I have my transparency views. I can change my shading, wireframe, etc. So what I need to start out with is a translational step. I need to select everything. The reason why I have to select everything is so that way when I create a plot view detail, everything is included in that plot view detail. So then I'm going to start adding some translational steps. I'm going to start picking individual items to be inside of these steps. So I'll start out with a translational step. I pick these wires. And I'm going to pick the connectors. And then from here, when I explode these out, you can see how they will explode out to the distance I set in the shift amount. Notice how not everything is added, so I can add in an entity later, and I can add and remove entities as I need to in each individual step. Now if I add a third step, I can input any value that I want in here. I'll make this distance a little bit less. I pick the entities I want associated to this step. I can use block control and select multiple elements at the same time. And when I explode that out, you can see how that's translating up as well. So now I can see my camshaft. Next, I can start working on the side, and I can start adding in transitional steps as well here. So I can start picking different items to be in each step. This time, instead of moving the Z, I'm going to choose the Y direction. So as you can see, when I input in a shift amount, it's going to shift in the Y direction when I shift my part. I just keep adding different steps. I pick individual parts that I want those distances to move to. Change this to the Y axis again. And I can input in a shift amount at whatever distance I need. So now that I've picked that direction, I can pick the same Y direction, but this time in a negative value. If I hit the space bar, I can input the shift amount. And this is in a negative Y value, so it shifts that in a negative. I can utilize the same exact steps with the Z axis, trying to utilize this, or trying to shift this down in a negative direction. It will shift down in the negative direction in Z when I hit my space bar and shift that down. So as you can see, I'm going to set my shift amount to 300, and I can shift that down. Now that I've completed my piece, I can see all my steps in the Explode Manager. If I explode them out, you can see the shift amounts on all of those parts. I can turn on the highlight. I can see what individual entities are in each step. And then I can also set an animation. So from start to finish, basically each step, it's going to play an animation showing you how everything is going to explode out in the piece. So you can see how it's all separating out in individual steps. It's going to be dependent on what steps you set these up as. So as you can see, our shift amounts are negative directions, our positive directions. You can see how the part's separated out. So once I've done that, I can choose to record this. I can send this to a customer, and I can change my video options. So I can change my DPI values. One other thing I can do with Explode Manager is I can create an exploded view. This would be for 2D detailing. I can create this inside a plot view inside of VISI, so I can create individual views showing the exploded part. So I've created a top view, looking at from the top based off the work plane. I'm going to create a front view, looking at from the front of the work plane. And then from here, I can also create a multi-view session with plot view. Let's insert in another page. And I can insert in a multi-view. This will be 4 views at one time. I can set some of these views to whatever I want. I can set some of them to shaded, as you can see here. And I can create 4 views at one time showing my part. When creating my views in plot view, I can also create a bill of material and start labeling these detail views to show all the information that I have in my part for ordering purposes. If I go into my assembly manager and the bill of material, I can plot out a table, so I can plot this information on the screen and see that information there. And then from here, I can also go in and balloon these. I'm going to make sure I don't have any duplicate balloons when I'm creating this. Then I can go into here, pick my part, pick what I want to balloon, and I can start auto ballooning it so it labels up each individual part. So I look at my list, I know what I need to order, and so on. Thank you for watching.